NHFPI is a non-partisan research organization that's focused on the state budget, local economies, health policy, education policy. How can we use public policy as a tool? How can we talk about those challenges, let people know what people are really feeling? I think it's helping to understand in the larger context of why does housing matter? Why does childcare matter? Making that accessible in real bullet points for folks to be able to take what they need and whatever that may be, whether they're going to go and advocate at the State House or really just be informed citizens. I lived in homeless shelter as a kid, and I think about the ways that public policy made a difference in my life and made me into the person that I am today, right? Allowed those opportunities to happen. Be the first person in my family to go to college. But I think for me, I really have a moral obligation to be able to give back. And so that's why I really love the work that I do at the Fiscal Policy Institute. And really, I think my goal and the goal of the Institute is to make sure that we leave the woodpile higher than when we found it. One of the key ways that we help talk about the state budget or other key areas is by a virtual webinar series. And so in the years that we have the state budget, we do a 3-part series looking at the governor's phase of the budget, the House phase, and the Senate phase. And then in off-budget years, we often will pick key policy priorities and really talk through those. So whether it's poverty or healthcare or childcare, and really help do a deep dive into those issues and explain what are the challenges that are happening, what are the opportunities to make a difference for folks, and why action really matters. We should be really concerned that almost 60% of our young people who go to college leave the state. That's a challenge. We have more deaths than births. And again, we're relying on folks to move into our state to power our economy. That's a really dangerous place to be in, and there's a lot of uncertainty there. If we look at 2020, about 18% of the population was 65 or older. By 2030, that's 27%. We're gonna get older as a population, so what are we doing to make it easier for young people to move here, live here, and thrive here? And at the flip of that, what are we doing for our seniors to make sure that they're able to have good quality care, be able to age in place with dignity, all those sorts of things. So I think it's the opportunities of telling the story and how public policy can make a difference in the lives of everyday people. Every year, New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Institute hosts a conference. This past year, we had our conference in December. We had over 400 folks who were there looking at the state budget and really slicing it up and talking about what are the challenges, what are the looming threats, and what are the opportunities for investment and how that interacts with everyday folks. And so we had policymakers there, a bipartisan mix of folks. We had nonprofit leaders, business leaders, and really folks who were interested in, one, learning about the budget, but two, really knowing what's next and how can we make sure that New Hampshire's budget is having a positive effect on everyday people. I think sometimes folks lack hope, but what we saw during the pandemic, we saw a huge investment in people. We cut poverty in half here in New Hampshire as a result of federal policy. And when that policy, the child tax credit, that went out monthly, ended, we saw poverty go back up. And so it's how do we educate people to know that public policy works, it can make a difference in their lives, and it's a benefit to the public good, and that when we help our neighbors, we're helping ourselves as well. Oftentimes the work that we do today, we don't see that impact for, sometimes 10, 20 years, but we have to be able to sort of plant those seeds today to be able to see that tree in the future. So I think it's just keeping, up and having faith that the work that we're doing today makes a difference in the long run.